was, how do you qualify to be President of the United States? I am highly qualified for this huge position. I am running for office with much more experience and qualifications than Barack Obama had when he ran. He was a state legislator that served in the Senate for 2 years. I have been a legislative leader from the third largest state in the country who has served in the Senate for 4.5 years and have invested a significant amount of time in national security issues, particularly intelligence. The second question of the night was, what would be your main agenda items should you become president? I will be a new president for a new age. One of the biggest issues we face is our war with ISIS. ISIS is a radical Sunni Islamic group. They need to be defeated on the ground by a Sunni military force with air support from the United States, and we will wipe ISIS out. We have a broken enforcement system on immigration. We need to deal with immigration because we have a legal immigration system that is outdated and needs to be modernized so we can win the global competition for talent. We have millions of people living in this country illegally, and we need to find a way of incorporating them into American life. Last year we tried to do that through a one-size-fits-all comprehensive approach. It didn't work. We don't have the support for that. The only way we're going to be able to address it, and I believe we should, is through a sequence of bills that begins by providing to people that illegal immigration is under control, modernizing our legal immigration system, and then dealing with those who are here illegally.
Hello, I am Samantha Landis-Ted Cruz. The first question of the evening was about what qualifies me for the role of president. As a 44-year-old senator of Texas, I believe that not only my time as senator, but my time as a lawyer previously, provides me with exceptional amount of knowledge and experience to take with me into the position of president. Throughout my career, I have been consistent in my beliefs as a conservative and constitutionalist, and have continually used my positions to fight for those beliefs. I believe that my ability to fully admit, stand by, and act upon my beliefs, as well as those of my constituents, more than qualifies me for the presidency. If you have any doubt as to my abilities, I encourage you to take a look at my track record. However, I will provide you with some examples for now. As Solicitor General of Texas, I successfully defended our right to bear arms, the constitutionality of under God in the Pledge of Allegiance, and the United States sovereignty against the UN and the World Court. I have proven my knowledge and understanding of our Constitution and laws multiple times, 9 times in fact, in the Supreme Court itself. It is this background and understanding of our Constitution that I believe qualifies me for the honor of this role. As for the second question as to what my agendas as president would be, if I were to be given the honor of serving as commander-in-chief, the first things on my agenda would be immigration regulation, religious liberty, elimination of the Affordable Care Act, and interactions with terrorists. I believe it is preposterous that as a country we have allowed ourselves to become overrun by illegal aliens. Now, I am not saying that I have anything against immigration. As the son of a Cuban immigrant myself, I applaud anyone who comes here and enters the country legally. Legally, not illegally. Unlike President Obama, I do not believe in amnesty, and if I were to become president, I would appeal the decision to give it to those here legally. Being from Texas and seeing the negatives of a weak border of our country, I wish to encourage border control and rid ourselves of sanctuary cities who harbor criminals from deportation. As president, I would fight for religious liberty, which is being attacked on multiple fronts. I would not give up our freedom of religion to the incoming threats of our society. I believe that our new definition of marriage and our blatant disrespect of life are just 2 examples of the infringements upon our religious liberty. Now, if you have followed me in my career in the Senate at all, You know that I am in large opposition of the Affordable Care Act. Many have called it an obsession of mine, and that would be correct, it is. I do not believe that as a government we should dictate the health care of our people. Now finally, I believe that as a leader of a nation, one should speak against those who terrorize our country, our people, and our ideals. As president, I would call these people what they are, radical Islamic terrorists, and seek out their end as opposed to sugarcoating as our current administration has done. As a nation, we shouldn't cower out of fear towards those who would do us harm. We should stand up and fight. I am a man of my word, and what I say I'll do, I will do. Thank you.
My name is LaQuisha Atkins, and I will be representing Dr. Ben Carson. Good evening, everyone. Let me start by saying what an honor it is to be a candidate of the 2016 presidential debate. Now, traditionally, I do not qualify to be the President of the United States. You all should be the first to know that I am not politically correct, and I will probably never be, because I'm not a politician. I'm a human being. Politicians are naturally trained to do what is politically expedient. I want to do what's right. The political class has weaved an imaginary tale that they are the only ones that can solve our problems. But with the collective political experience in Congress right now, it has not solved much of anything. What we need are problem solvers. People with a history of solving complex problems and that know how to utilize others that are working with them to solve problems. Wisdom is much more important than political experience. This country, America, is the greatest country the world has ever known. It is such an exceptional nation, and our job is to make sure we remain an exceptional nation. One of the main things that concerns me today is America's debt. We have a terribly broken system right now. We're not growing anymore. This tremendous debt is in upwards of $18 trillion, and at a rate of $10 million a day, it would take us over 5,000 years to repay it. We are putting this on the backs of our young people. We need to be more physically responsible to get our economy rolling again and fix the tax structure by getting rid of ridiculous regulations, entitlements, and reforming the tax system. We have an excellent opportunity to jumpstart the economy very quickly with my plan to advocate in providing a 6-month hiatus of tax-free holidays so that the money overseas can be repatriated to our shores at no cost to the American people. I only ask that 10% would be used to create jobs for the unemployed and the people that are on welfare. This is the most powerful economic engine that the world has ever known, and yet it cannot work with the chains of the many regulations costing us in terms of goods and services. This hits mainly poor people disproportionately. This is one of the things driving the income gap. We need to stop all these stupid regulations that are driving up the cost for everyone. Another issue is the Supreme Court dealing with gay marriage. Marriage is and should always be between a man and a woman. No group should get to change the fundamental definition of pillars of society. Gay people only want to get married because they want to have various rights, such as property rights and visitation rights. They should be granted the legal right to do all of those things, but without changing the definition of marriage. As a man of faith, a renowned neurosurgeon, author, and recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, with an abundance of business and financial experience, I challenge you to know the importance of common sense. We all have a brain. Let's put our hands together, think for ourselves, and bring home this election.
As Carly Fiorina. Good evening. I was born in Austin, Texas, and currently live in a home outside of Washington, D.C. in Mason Neck, Virginia with my wonderful husband, Frank. Throughout my life, I've worked my way up from secretary to CEO. While I do not have political experience, my experiences as a top business executive helps me to understand what is needed for the economy to grow and has given me leadership experience that has prepared me to run the country by questioning the status quo and fixing issues that have been around for a long time. That's what being a leader is about. I am not a politician,
and I believe that government should be citizen-run, not run by the current political class. A major issue that America has today is the increase in cronyism, where individuals and interest groups are using their political connections to their advantage. This coupling of big business and big government is toxic to our nation. I believe that reducing government regulation will significantly help the economy. The current administration is inept to deal with foreign issues. Recently, when China violated a trade agreement with respect to the South China Sea, you know what the Obama and Clinton administration did? Nothing. They did absolutely nothing. We are being pushed around and walked over. We need to be assertive and retaliate. We cannot just sit back and do nothing anymore. Education lays the foundation for the future of our country. Common Core is just a straight up bad idea. The education system has become heavy-handed and standardized because of the involvement from a bureaucratic government. The textbooks and test companies are taking advantage to help drive the Common Core. The main argument in favor of Common Core is that we need to compete with the Chinese. Sure, the Chinese can pass a test, but we need to be better. Because it is so standardized, it limits choices. It limits the choices parents have in how they want to educate their children and limits teachers' choices in the classroom. Over time, it limits creativity, and the ability to be innovative and display entrepreneurship and imagination will diminish. These are things that are distinctly American, and we cannot afford to lose them.
I'm Valentina Quiroga, and I'll be playing Donald Trump. How do I qualify to be president? I believe in exceptionalism. I'm not afraid to take on the evil in the world. I'm not afraid to say what I mean, and when I say something, I know I will get it done. I know I'm not politically correct, but I want to make America great again, and I will get my way. On my agenda, I will find someone like MacArthur to take on ISIS, and I will negotiate our way out of trouble with them. I will also build the Great Wall of Trump to keep out the illegal immigrants. I will keep them all out, no matter what, and I will make sure they don't take our jobs. I also believe everyone in America should speak English, and I will lessen the regulations on the market. I will not be bought, as I have paid for my campaign. That's why I will be making America great again.
Hello everyone, I'm Justin Bland, this is Jeb Bush. I just want to thank everybody for showing up today and putting this on. It's truly an honor to be here. For those of you who are just now tuning in, what makes me qualified to be president was the question. I have extensive legislative background, as right now I am the governor of Florida, which means I have passed legislation that directly affects the people of my state. Therefore, I have experience to directly pass legislation that affects the people of my country. I cut spending by $19 million in Florida so I can take what I've learned as governor in Florida to the national level and try to decrease this rampage of a debt that we have going on. The second question, as far as my agenda goes, I believe that first I should address the immigration issue. I believe we are a little harsh on immigration. I believe these people are coming out of here out of love, and they have a Reagan ideal when they come that this country is great and it's there to make a better future for them. And they come here for their families, and they come here to make a better lives for themselves. And I say if they're coming here to make a better lives for themselves and make a better lives for us, that we should decrease the harshness on immigration. I believe that we should reform the system so that earned citizenship, and I want everybody here to hear me, that earned citizenship can be earned with the right fees and paperwork to prove that you are a citizen. I believe that we can reform the system. As the growing problem in the Middle East, ISIS, I do believe we need to take action towards that. I don't necessarily agree that my brother's tactics were right and that the Iraqi war was justifiable, but they might have been right at the time. Now I do not believe that we should even put American boots on the ground. I believe that local governments should surmount a force of rebels to defeat this ISIS, and they should have American support from the air, and as well as air-to-ground missiles and ground-to-air missiles. As far as American boots on the ground, I do not believe this is our problem that we should be getting into. Too many lives have been lost, and I don't believe that any more should be at the hands of ISIS. And the last thing I would like to address, as far as many more things I would like to address, would be drug reform. I believe that we have a very harsh system in this government towards drugs. It's becoming a rampaging problem in multiple states as the drug cartels in Mexico are becoming stronger and finding ways to import newer drugs and increase drugs into the states. I believe we need to set up rehabilitation tactics and reform this whole system so we can get these people out of jails and on to living prosperous lives and making a better life for everybody else. Thank you.
Mr. Jeb Bush, your brother brought us Obama. Do we really want this man to ruin the country even more?
Well, as to your statement, I do not necessarily agree with my brother's tactics, but I know this, he kept us safe. But one thing I want to bring up towards you is that you blatantly and openly said that Hillary Clinton would be the best one to defeat ISIS and deal with ISIS. Obviously on the opposite political party, but do we really want a leader like Hillary Clinton, or even someone that believes that Hillary Clinton is the best, to be running this country?
As for Carla Fiorina, during your time as CEO at HP, you drove that company into the ground, leaving it worse off than what it was. Lower earnings and profits, upsetting shareholders. This illustrates your leadership and financial experience or responsibility. Do we want somebody like this running our country?
And to address Dr. Ben Carson's agenda on gay marriage, I believe that marriage, the key to a strong family life, is the most important institution in our society and should be between one man and one woman. People who disagree with the traditional definition of marriage have the right to change their state laws. That is the right of our people, not the right of the unselected judges or justices of the Supreme Court. This decision short-circuits the political process that has been underway on the state level for years.
In response to Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush's stance on immigration, I think we need to deal with border security before we even think about dealing with the immigration reform. It will take a large amount of money, manpower, and willpower to secure borders and fix the legal immigration system that has been broken for over 25 years. For those that came illegally and stayed illegally, or those who came illegally and overstayed in one of our 300 sanctuary cities, they should not be rewarded with a path for citizenship. There must be consequences for breaking the law. Too many people have worked too hard to become citizens for it to become something that is just handed out. Citizenship is a privilege.
This is in regards to Jeb Bush's stance on ISIS. You say we shouldn't have any more American boots on the ground, but so far we've just been standing back and watching. We haven't gotten anything done. I believe that as an American government, we should have people there. Otherwise, we're just going to look like we're standing back and watching as our people are getting terrorized.